Yes. No scallywags. Yes. Yes.
What? Yo. You pick up the phone.
No scallywags. No lot lizards.
KG.
Yeah.
Are we live?
Yeah, we live. Let's go. Let's do it. What's up? How you doing, everybody? What's going on with you? This is the Nubian Sumo for the Sideline Junkies Saturday Night Wrestlemaniacs. Over here, wait a minute. Over here, we got the People's Choice Don Rodriguez, and down here, probably getting a hot pocket, is the big guy KG. And hey, thank you, KG, for not putting up them worms for whatever from Men in Black like we usually do every week. Appreciate you.
I don't know what happened.
You don't know what happened? Hey, it was meant to be. It was meant to be. Don't worry about it.
Like I don't know.
So I guess it's a cold open.
That wasn't supposed to happen.
That wasn't no cold opening. I just did the introduction. Let's get it. Let's get started. Let's go.
No, I don't feel right.
Like the kids say, let's LFG, let's go.
I don't know what happened here.
I don't feel right.
So now I'm a little disturbed.
Y'all worried about the wrong thing. Y'all worried about the exact. See, y'all stalling.
I can't.
You're stalling.
I can't do this.
Do what you're supposed to do right now. You almost tried to trick me. You almost tried to get me. But I didn't play until wait a minute. Okay. You got me. Okay, damn it. Hi, Faye. How you doing? Okay. I'm done.
Is there any way to get him to shut up?
I'm moving around because I'm trying to.
There's any way to do it. That was it.
Face says undefeated.
Well, hold on, gents. Because
you broke the system.
I had something going on here.
I told you we were hacked.
You so worried about getting that hot pocket and making sure your hair right that you didn't put up the scallywag. But I'm not mad.
But the scallywags are supposed to be already up. Everything was loaded.
Hey, I don't know. You need to call them, Don. I mean, those are your hoes.
I know, right?
Them's is your hoes.
Tonight, the bell rings and the stories begin. Welcome to the ride.
Ocean coming. You will more of a countdown. The commentary is. Look at the numbers. So dynamic. This is not go-go, ladies and gentlemen. This is not go-go. 100% out. Draw. On with the WrestleMania. Lotless, look at him. It's where I wanna be. Okay, get it in there.
Just had to do it.
I feel better now. I don't know about y'all.
I bet you do.
I feel like we just opened the show.
Follow me.
Follow me.
to a place. No, you should be playing that instead of that mess you've been playing.
Well, now you're hating on the music. Look, you can't hate on the soundtrack of life. I think what's his name? Oh goddamn. What's his name? The blonde one with the pianos and shit.
Stevie Wonder.
Stevie Wonder. There we go. Stevie Wonder.
Right,
How long have you been working this week?
Are you
You
high?
threw everything out of whack, KG. You started with that, the cold open and everything, and it just broke the cadence and the flow. It just don't feel right now.
I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened. I'm sitting here and I'm like, okay, what is this?
Like Brandy just sitting up in my room. Hold on, let's
I've
get
already
you.
made the introduction, so we can start.
Let's get KG refocused. All right, you good now?
I'll take that.
You good now?
I'll take that.
Locked in? Are we in the zone?
We need a resolution.
There you
resolution. There's
There
just
we
too
go.
much confusion.
There we go, my man. Look at him. His eyes is lasered. He is feeling great now. The show can begin. All right, what we talking about?
Well, I guess, Sumo done did the introductions. Everybody know who we are. So let's get into the reason for the season for being here. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. We had to take last week off because we were dealing in some controversy and we were muddled. Just things wasn't looking right. We thought we were coming out of SummerSlam with a 3-way tie.
Mm-hmm.
But upon further review, a couple of voting machines, some AI bots.
Some got that going independence.
Yeah.
Messed up the people's money.
Mm-hmm.
We had to take some tallies and things like that. But ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I'd like to introduce to you your new Sideline Junkies Picks champion, the one, the only, Nubian Sumo.
And of course, as always, I have to do this the right way. I have to do this the correct way. I need my full acknowledgement.
Oh,
Oh.
hell no. God
Without
dang it, Bobby.
any further ado,
God dang it, Bobby.
I introduce to you from the Straight to Tape podcast, my man, my mellow, my brother, Rob the Actual. Sir, if you will.
Family, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Rob the Actual, aka Bobby the Brain. Now introducing, that needs no introduction. He is the manager of millions. He is the trainer of champions. He is your friend and mine, benevolent, Don Sumotanza, and he is your Sideline Junkies Picks champion. I give you, ladies and gentlemen, the Nubian Sumo.
And don't be jealous that you can't have somebody on your side like that. My man, that's what I'm talking about right there. That's how you do it. That's how you get the job done right there. Yeah. Now, all together. Let me raise this up a little bit so we can do this properly. Sideline junkies, acknowledge me.
You gotta acknowledge him, Don. He won fair and square. It's gotta be done. I ain't gotta like it, but it's gotta be done.
First and foremost, shout out to Rob. Thank you for gracing us with your presence on the show. Good to see you. Pat got passed that along. See what we can't hear.
First appearance of Rob the Actual since the round table.
Yeah, that's what I said. You got to pass it along. We said welcome. Good to see you. He can't hear us. You got a headset on.
Oh, you know, hey, they saying thank you for coming out, brother. Appreciate you.
Hey, man.
Appreciate
Much
you.
love to you guys, man. Keep doing your thing. I acknowledge all of you. Y'all are really dope in this space. Love you guys.
Thank you, sir. Secondly, KG, do we have a budget for this shit? How you keep getting the goddamn going hype man?
He got an unlimited budget.
God damn.
One word for you to explain all of it. Contract.
Exactly. Who the hell wrote that? KG.
Well, I got a little bit more than one word. He's the male Barbara Streisand. He got his own hype man.
All right, man. You have a good one. All right.
Look like lentil. Congratulations, Sumo.
Thank you kindly.
I'll say this. The miscalculation came because one match determined winner and losers. At the time, I believe Don had 4 wins. I had 5. Sumo had 5. But upon further review, because Chelsea Green was the mystery participant in the women's ladder match, Sumo and the People's Choice Don Rodriguez picked mystery. They didn't know who it was. They said, "What's in the box? What's in the fucking box?"
Hey, anytime you put somebody in a box, it's over automatically. Jim Cornette said that.
Well, guess what? If I got to go by that logic from now on, okay, because that logic right there took Sumo to 6 wins, brung Don to 5, and kept me at 5. That's how Sumo wins the Picks Championship.
I was robbed.
Congratulations. Because after night 1, I knew I was in there. I was like, all right, I got to change.
The first night, you barely made the board on the first night.
Yeah, I know. I shit the bed on that one. Triple H had some other plans. It was like, not today, nigga. That's literally what I thought he was saying. It's like, really? Not this one? Not this one? Come on, man. Are we going against the grain on everything? God dang. He had it out for me. He's like, no, you ain't keeping that belt, dog. I'm like, man, that's messed up right here. I can't be like Liv Morgan and just don't defend it. I'm just, just trying to be me. And clearly.
So shouts out to my new friend, Chelsea Green.
Women's champion, Chelsea Green.
Well, she's out right now, and didn't she hurt her shoulder earlier? What was that, Monday?
No, she has a broken orbital bone.
Same thing that Rhea Ripley had. But
they were going to, if anybody, spoiler alert for anybody who didn't watch it last night, they were going to, Nick Aldis was going to take the title from her because she's not medically cleared. And even though they said months ago they've gotten rid of the 30-day title defense clause, they threw it out there saying that she couldn't defend in 30 days. So he was like, well, as general manager, I have to take the title from you because you can't defend it. But they had her walking down the aisle, all sad and everything. But then he was like, but wait, as a man, I can't let you go out like that. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to give you 30 days to get a medical clearance, get you a mask or whatever you got to do to defend this title within the next 30 days. And as long as you can do that, you can keep the belt.
And the rest is history.
Now,
But that's good, though, that they made that decision. Because Rhea's going to be out for a bit. Remember, they were carrying the interim thing. But, it's unfair to everybody for Rhea to still be considered if she's going to be out for a while. But
and then for them to go through all that and have an interim championship that just gives it up on within a week, that's kind of yeah.
Injuries are starting to become a thing now. If you notice in the WWE, I don't know if it's because they're feeling pressure that they have to, go above and beyond, or try new moves, being a little bit more, I wouldn't say careless, but just doing new spots that they're normally not at. Because we also have Royce Keys. I don't understand how we're indefinite, but right now they've got him out indefinitely. People are getting injured, and that's a little bit different from the WWE side of things. On the WWE side of things versus AEW is kind of like par for the course for a lot of times. But what's your guys' thoughts on that? Does the WWE need to kick it up a notch and really try to compete on the physicality level of an AEW?
Well, right now, I don't know if y'all saw the same thing I saw on social media, but it's kind of funny that the last 3 women to get hurt since SummerSlam have all been in matches, got hurt in matches with Fatal Attraction.
That is true. That is true. And guess who's not a member of Fatal Attraction? Nia Jax. So you can't put it on her.
Well, but I'm saying that to say this. Everybody talked about how dangerous Nia Jax was.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody was talking about how dangerous for other folks were, people getting hurt and whatnot multiple times. Are they not going to say anything about Fatal Attraction?
Nothing. And they undefeated right now in injuring people.
And they just put the belt. They just put the United States Championship on JC Jane last night.
Yep.
So they got the United States Championship and the tag titles.
Not sure how this is going to play out. I mean, that's Brie Bella. That's a recent note. That's Brie Bella. That's Chelsea Green. I mean, the good news is, as long as Chelsea can heal like Nia, not trying to make it apples to apples, but I'm not Nia. I'm sorry, Rhea. Rhea came back pretty quick, even though she had the mask on and stuff like that. That could be that opportunity, hopefully. And that's why I'm thinking why they did that specific 30-day angle. Because they're like, okay, in 30 days, she should be good to at least compete with the mask. She's in.
They're probably giving her time for the mask to get made.
Probably that too.
You got to custom make those masks, so you just can't go somewhere and buy one. I mean, you
think you should get the Cody Rhodes with the see-through, or should she jazz it up with Chelsea jazz it up?
Could be. I mean, that's all one
sequins and stuff like that.
I know it was an AI, but I saw one where it was a full helmet. It was it looked like a Power Rangers helmet with a clear visor.
Oh man! Well, I tell you what, they need to keep Fatal Attraction away from Charlotte.
Yes, but here's
that could be a career ender.
Here's something that I thought about. With everybody going down, whether you are Chelsea Green or Royce Keys, this is where you have to always build on your roster. What you have, so when a top dog goes down, it's not a you don't come to a fork in the road. You're not coming to a pothole or a ravine. This ain't the Oregon Trail where you got to figure out how to cross the Mississippi River now. So if you build up everybody else, you're good. But see, this is also where your United States champion, this is what I've been saying for years. They need another women's belt. You need something, because the men have the U.S. title and the Continental. on 2 shows. The women need one more belt. And I think you need
that would be what?
Make that a TV title.
No.
Then they need to move more
You know,
women.
You said that. You said that to vex me. You know how I feel about all the belts
because you don't really
wait, Sumo. Not only do you need another belt, they need to have a tournament to crown the champion.
Asshole.
No.
Asshole. No, he did that. He did that.
He knows. More. He knows. Like if you already gonna, poke him, you might as well keep on going. No homo.
Yeah, no, we don't need that. I mean, they're already doing what they need to do to cut back because they've gotten rid of the Speed Championship.
I didn't like that in the first place.
They're getting rid of the Speed Championship, so good. The men's Speed Champion's been hurt, and that belt just disappeared. Nobody's spoken about it or nothing. And then they just they just announced that the Women's Speed Championship is going to be merged with the North American Championship in a match this Tuesday. So, yeah, we getting rid of belts. We need to get rid of belts. We don't need more belts.
So what would the answer be? Because keep it NXT aside, would the answer be another show? And it doesn't mean create another show. I mean, they're recording stuff for Main Event every week. So should Main Event become something a little bit more predominant so that way they can really make that a feature show? Because you also got to think Collision has just passed Thunder in B show episodes. So AEW has officially eclipsed all of WCW for their similar demographic and time slots and stations and stuff like that. So AEW has outgrown WCW's in the past for them. So why can't Main Event just become elevated to where they're actually having, I don't know, maybe Roman Reigns or other people on there for the women that gives them more visibility. We just had Michin beat Julia. It's just there, but it's not leading into anything. It's just okay. But what if we started adding something to it to where the belts could be fleshed out a little bit more instead of adding a title? What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, you can start doing number one contenderships for the United States and the Intercontinental belts on those shows, which is what those shows should be anyway.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, those shows are like the Main Event show is almost like the studio show they used to do on TBS for on Saturday night.
Yep.
605 show. Those are shows that's supposed to set up for the big shows. So if you're going to do something like the speed thing, if you want to keep it going, you don't need a belt for it. You just need to do the tournaments, the tournament style matches on that show for the lesser titles to bring those lesser titles up.
Right. KG, you look like you want to say something. I can see it
well
in your brain.
You already know where I'm going. When it comes down to it, you got Raw. Starting off the week, you got Raw. Then you got NXT. Then you got SmackDown. If you added another show, then you got a Saturday night main event every 30 days or so, which is cool.
And don't forget Evolve.
Evolve as well.
That's right, Evolve is still happening, yeah.
And now, here's something that I suggest, and you gentlemen may not agree with it, but I thought that it was a beautiful thing when we had it. You know how you get that late night obscure for the night shift on a Saturday? You walking into the house because you just got off work. You'd have missed all the wrestling, but you got a kind of like a catch-up show with a couple dark matches that were recorded during the week.
Yep.
Your shotgun Saturday night, basically, after Howard Stern. Then on Sunday, you might throw, your Sunday Night Heat back. I wouldn't have a problem with Sunday Night Heat and Shotgun Saturday Night coming back under different names, of course, because these kids ain't going to understand that.
And you can't call it Shotgun. But yeah, Anthony, that is the correct term name for it, Shotgun Saturday Night.
And that was at a point in time, you're old enough to remember this. Raw would go off the air at 11:05. When Raw was going off the air, the action was still going on. Once they started doing SmackDown on Thursday night, when SmackDown came on, they picked up where Raw left off and went off the air at 11:05. And everything, the storylines, everything continued into SmackDown. And then it continued into Saturday night, Shotgun Saturday night. And then they talked about it on Sunday Night Heat. So we had, at the time, 4 shows a week? Not to mention the other stuff that came on. It's not bad. It's not oversaturation because everything is different. So you can actually work that out. And you can actually build up more talent that way. Because now you got Raw, you got NXT, you got Evolve, you got SmackDown. You add something else for that 5th day, and it could be a half-hour show. It could be, you know what it could be? It could be WWF Superstars, but in 2026.
Actually, remember, since they're going back to house shows, remember when you had a live show on Sunday and you went live for the first hour, or it could be the last hour, was actually the live Sunday Night Heat?
Yes.
Wasn't that like live wire? Wasn't that live wire?
No, it was Heat. They did Heat that way. Live wire came after, but Sunday Night Heat, it just depends on when they actually, did your house show. Like West Coast, if it's 6, then that last hour was Heat because of the time slot. On the East Coast, the first hour was Heat, and then you were there until 10. But, you got, some heavy hitters showing up. Everybody got there. You got your fill of everything that you wanted because you got the crazy mashups for a house show. And then you also got the actual canon, kayfabe stuff happening at the same time. They can do that. It's not going to cost anything extra. You're already there. You just don't, well, actually will cost extra because you have to have a production truck. But that'd be the only thing if it's going to be live, but it's doable for main event. And just, work it off the house show. It's possible. But, Sumo, he's totally against another belt for the women. He's also totally against tournaments
in WWE.
So if they want to do the right thing for Sumo, then they'll just figure it out. I did see something, though, fellas, that was kind of interesting. And I really wanted to get y'all thoughts on the difference in eras, I guess, is really the best way to look at it. Something that came out this week, a comparison report. And it was a top wrestler eras report based off of their ages. So if we take a look at in 2026, these are the ages of some of the top performers in WWE at the moment. Cody Rhodes, 41. Roman Reigns, 41. LA Knight, 43. Randy Orton, 46. Gunther, 38. Seth, 40. CM Punk, 47. Drew McIntyre, who's still active with the WWE technically, 41. Kevin Owens just returning, 42. Yeet Master himself, Jey Uso and Jimmy, 40. That's 2026 top stars. 1999, folks. Tops at 99. The Rock was only 27. Stone Cold was 34. Undertaker was 34. Mick Foley was 34. Triple H was 30. Kurt Angle was 30. HBK was 34. The Big Red Machine Kane was 32. This is a funny one. Jericho was 28. Even the Big Show was 27. 2026, the average age for a top performer, main eventer, is 41, almost 42. Attitude Era, basically, the top age was 31. I want to go with sumo first. Because in its comparison, what would you say is the difference that top stars are almost 10 years older before they're main eventing at the level that they are versus 1999 when we were at the height, arguably, of wrestling, period? What's the difference? Why does it take so long? Or is that just evolution? I don't know.
One word. Competition.
Okay.
You had WCW going pretty strong at that point. You didn't have TNA or ECW for another 2 years after that. You were pretty much competing against WCW, and that was around the time of the 83 weeks run.
Right.
So they had to bring in and plus you have to realize, look at the 2 or 3 years prior to that, who were they dealing with? They were still dealing with Hogan. They were still dealing with Piper, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
They were still dealing with Orndorff and what's the other one? The one that I always get them to confused sometimes. Orton and not Orton, but who's the one that was in Starrcade? Valentine. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you still had all these older wrestlers that were on their somewhat last legs that was dealing, and they saw the competition in WCW coming. They had to go with younger,
right,
to build them up, because that's what they had. They didn't have it. They weren't really stealing too much at that time from other places. They were bringing in their own talent, pretty much. Because even though Undertaker was in WCW and in the Indies a little bit and whatnot, he's pretty much Undertaker was homegrown WWE.
Right.
You had Stone Cold, who did some things. He was still coming up as making a name for himself in WCW. Wound up going and trying to get into. And I don't think he had gotten in quite yet, because he couldn't have because with he left WCW and went straight to ECW before he got to WWF.
Mm-hmm.
So he was still coming up, but on his way in. Some of the other ones were coming out of either Ohio Valley that you named, or coming from some other independent that was connected to WWE. They were trying to deal with the competition that was coming with WCW. So yeah, they had to go young. They had no choice. They didn't have any grizzled veterans that they could depend on, like they are now. I mean, and plus that also, with them having to deal with the older talent now, that lets you know how much they trust the ones that they haven't brought up yet.
True.
So what is it? Is it that they're not catching on? The younger talent's not catching on? They're not showing, or they're not proving themselves in a quicker fashion than what they did in the past? I mean, they got more to deal with than they did back then.
Yeah.
I mean, you'd established yourself in the Indies and you were in, So I'm thinking it's more competition than anything else. They're not really competing with anybody right now. I mean, right. AEW's not really giving them that much of a push against WWE. You don't have TNA is not really doing anything. WWE is helping TNA try to get over. So yeah, it's more so competition than the fact that they got people that they can actually trust to do the work and trust with these titles to get them over and keep them there.
Okay. So KG, two things, because Sumo did bring up a good point. So I'll give you one to be able to respond to that thought in reference to what's the difference, and two, are we at the point to where we should start being concerned about the notion that AEW is not serious competition? Because they've been out long enough now to have, they should have staked the claim. The flag should be planted saying we are here and we are viable to the demographic that WWE is doing. So they should be able to turn the channel to us and be equally or even more entertained. So what's your thoughts on the age thing? And then is Tony Khan out of time as it relates to, hey man, it's time to put up or shut up now?
As far as the age thing, I'm going to be honest with you. Nubian Sumo took it in a direction I didn't think he was going to go in. That's number one. I didn't think he was going to go in that direction. I was going to say, because you don't have OVW, NXT is great for what it is, but NXT will never be OVW. FCW would never be OVW, which what NXT turned into. I mean, here's the thing. When you had OVW, you had everybody coming through there. You learn ring skills. You learn mat skills. You learn mic skills. But you learn skills for life because you had everybody there to help. You don't do that anymore. The reason why The Rock, Big Show, they were top stars at that time in 99 because, number one, they force-fed The Rock to you. The Rock was a force-fed baby face.
Yep.
Call a spade a spade. But he took something negative and turned it into positive. Stone Cold, one night changed everything. Austin 3:16 changed everything. If we didn't have that moment, would we have Austin? Probably not at the height that we have him at. Great. The Undertaker. This dude could go away, come back, go away, come back. And every time he goes away and comes back, he brings in a little bit more. Then he started reinventing himself. Everybody loved it. Because you went from The Undertaker to Dead Man to Big Evil to the American Badass. You had all these different personas of The Undertaker, but everybody loved it. With Kane, I was just messing with the guys at work, and I was like, yo, let's get an Inferno match going. A lot of the young guys like, what the hell is an Inferno match? I said, let me tell you something. Go look up Inferno match. And it was on SmackDown. Triple H versus Kane. And the Flames, every time they would hit the ring, the Flames would shoot up 10 feet. Kane bounced off the ropes and jumped over the ropes and the Flames as they were shooting up to splash whoever was outside the ring to get up to the stage to get the X-Pac. And I was like, that right there, you don't have things like that anymore. You don't have young guys starting off in the business at 16, 17, 18. You don't have that anymore. So guys are getting into wrestling later in life. Nobody does backyard wrestling anymore. Nobody wrestles for cardboard belts anymore. So you're not getting people starting young. And think about this. The top stars you have right now, your CM Punks, your Cody Rhodes, your Randy Ortons, they've been around for 20 some odd years. Now CM Punk had it. He had a whole. CM Punk, in my opinion, is the Barry Bonds of wrestling, because he had a first half of his career, that Ring of Honor run, and that was Hall of Fame worthy. His first WWE run, Hall of Fame worthy. His second WWE run, is going to be Hall of Fame work. This dude has had 3 careers in one. I'm not counting AEW because no, you didn't get to see the full part of him. But these things right here is why you don't have the youngins up there anymore. They're not getting into the game and taking it serious until they're in their 30s.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's name one performer on the indie scene that's young, talented, and you like, yeah, he ready for the main event status.
Sumo?
Young, talented, and ready for the main event status.
When I say ready for the main event status, I'm talking about he got the mat skills, the mic skills. He's just like the body fits everything. I'm talking about
when you say young, what do you mean young?
Let's go 27 and under.
27 and under?
Mm-hmm.
I thought you at least say 35.
No.
Yeah, if you said 30, I'm automatically saying MJF.
But he's already out there though.
But he's not. He's main event for AEW.
He could be main event anywhere.
He could be main event anywhere, right? But you're saying somebody who is 27 and under that's ready for WWE right now.
Right now.
That's not an NXT.
That's not an NXT. Can I count Zilla since he just got there?
No.
I can't count Zilla?
Nope.
Okay. Well, let's see. You got Journey Fatu, who they're looking at now.
What is he main event? I know that he needs to be there, but is he main event?
He has been main eventing in some of the indies. Yes, he's got titles. He's got titles. Let's see who else. Is there somebody else? I'm not sure how old David Finlay is. I think David Finlay might be older than 30. It might be older than 27.
Possibly. If not, he may be at 27. He's been in the game.
David Finlay would be one. That's Finlay's son.
Yeah.
Jay White.
He's still Jay White's got to be older than 27.
You think so?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll take him out.
Yeah. Switchblade's been out for a while.
Gabe Kidd.
Yeah. Anthony's got.
No. Gabe Kidd's been around for a while, so I don't want to say Gabe Kidd. He was 10 years in before he got to Japan. So no, I don't think he would fit the age bracket. There are some young. 27 is a hard sell.
Yeah, that's what I said. 35.
27 is a hard sell. If you said like early 30s, then there are more of them out there than right now at this point. Because that's what I thought you were going to say in comparison to what Don brought up.
Okay.
He was saying in 99 the average age was like 31, right?
Yeah, because Stone Cold, Triple H. I'm not Stone Cold, HBK, Kane. They were 34.
Stone Cold wouldn't have been in there, remember? So we took Stone Cold out of that.
Okay. Yeah, because he had a career in ECW before that.
Right, he was in ECW before that. ECW didn't start in 2000. So
now, I just think that nobody. You don't hear stories of guys being like, I was 5 years old. We talk about it all the time. I was 5 years old, 6 years old, outside. It was a mattress by the trash can. We were doing flips off of the railing onto the mattress.
Well, outside's dangerous now.
That's the thing now, though. I mean, that's the topic of discussion right now, because you're looking at Avery Styles, AJ Styles' son.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Who went down to some company in California, I believe. The same guy that CM Punk shouted out, Eric Cannon, I think his name was, something like that. He runs an indie in California,
right?
And he had AJ Styles' son Avery in a match paid him to wrestle the whole 9 yards, and had him taken down the ring. Now, back in the day, that's what you did.
That's how you pay your dues.
You came into the business, you paid your dues, and part of those dues were to break down and set up the ring.
Yep.
No. But now you got AJ Styles saying, no. You paid the man to be there to wrestle. I did all that. I did all the ring, setting up the ring and everything. I paid those dues. He shouldn't have to. Same thing with CJ Gallows. CJ Gallows is Doc Gallows' son.
Yeah.
Who's been tag teaming with Avery Styles in some of the indies. Same thing with him. Is this going to happen with Aaliyah Mysterio, or is she going to? Or they're going to keep her? They're going to keep her wrestling and take care of her like that.
Because they didn't nepo Dom.
Dom had to pay. He had to pay his dues in the ring and outside of the ring.
Yeah, Dom paid his dues.
He got whooped the
in front of everybody. Yeah, in front of everybody. He had no cut card. He was babyface, smooth little babyface. When he came out wrestling with his dad, oh my God, I can't believe I'm wrestling with my dad at WrestleMania. And everybody hated his ass. So,
are they going to do that? Now that his sister is in, are they going to do that with her?
Well, no, because she had her moment too. I think they'll be parallel because Dom had his moments as a kid. Aaliyah has been there as a kid, and then recently for a couple moments for Ray and Dom, and then for that storyline, and then okay, we see you. I think she's going to come in. And they're not. I would name her Guerrero. To be honest with you, you laugh. That would be the distinction and how you separate those two for the fans, as well as you separate their path. Name her Guerrero, and at least in NXT they have to work. I will give them NXT. They're not nepoing NXT. Evander Holyfield's son didn't get no specialized treatment when he was in LFG.
They have a whole faction of Nepo babies in NXT right now.
But that's a faction. That's something different. That's money. I'm talking about when they come in, they're paying dues. They're putting in work. They're learning the correct way. Now, I will give that to them. They're just not calling us like, oh yeah, come on in and just be. Even if they bring somebody in, they still got to come through the machine. They just giving you some FaceTime to see what the feel is going to be by, the WWE larger audience. Do you have it? If you have it, then you can move a little faster like an Obafemi or a Trick Williams or a Ricky Saints, because you have it. I can put you out there in front of 30,000, 50,000, 60,000, and you can entertain. If you can't do that, then we're going to have to keep you in NXT for a little bit until you can discover it. Or you just stay NXT, or you go somewhere else. KG, you about to say something?
This is something that I don't understand. When you were talking about AJ Styles' son, Nubian Sumo, how in the world can I say I paid my dues so my son doesn't have to pay dues? No, you got to go pay your dues too. I paid mine. You got to go pay yours. And I always thought that when you were wrestling, you had to set up and take down the ring. It's just like when you playing football or basketball, you're a rookie, you pay your dues, you go get the donuts, you might have to carry a bag, you might have to carry some pads at camp, but you paid your dues. And I'm going to sound like an old man right here, and if Perry is watching, he's saying, I'm standing on my lawn, shaking my fist at the clouds. This generation has a lot of kids in it that don't feel like they have to do. I'm not carrying no old dude pads. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing that.
Not a young boy.
I'm this. I'm that. How you gonna thump your chest and you ain't even bust a grape in the business yet? You can't do that. I don't give a fuck what your last name is. Now I don't know if it was true. Sumo, I know you didn't watch it because you wasn't a fan of it. I was a fan of Young Rock, and it was a scene in the joint where he went to Tennessee with his dad, and him and Brian Lawler, Grandmaster Sexay. They were young kids, but they were setting up and breaking down the ring talking wrestling in the back, all of that. They were paying their dues because they were kids of the stars. I thought that's what you did when your dad's in the business and you're on the road with your dad. You paid your dues that way. But if you didn't pay your dues that way, okay, once you get in the business, you have to pay your dues. Either way, you can't skip over that part because of what your last name is.
Then again, back then was a different time too, because those guys were stretching new guys in. You know, they would put them in what they call sugar holes, which would actually break bones.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you talk to wrestlers and whatnot about how they came. The older wrestlers, they talk about how they came up in the business, and talk about how first day they got their leg broke or their arm broke, and it was like, yeah, he ain't coming back, and he comes back the next day and like, yeah, I'm ready to go, you know. And they're like, okay, we can respect you a little bit now. We can show you what's going on. We can smarten you up a little bit. You know,
that was the story I heard about Hogan.
But that was the thing back. That was the thing. Yeah, with Hiro Matsuda. I mean, Hiro Matsuda broke his leg like first week of training. So, yeah, I mean, back in those days, yes, you did a lot to try to get into the business, to be trusted with the business, because you had a lot of things that were going on that nobody else was supposed to know about.
You had to protect kayfabe.
Kayfabe was the deal back then. I mean, nobody was supposed to know the things that we know now. But now it's a different era. Like you said, you got guys in the NFL come in making league minimum, talk about I ain't taking these guys out to eat for with a $50,000 check at a restaurant. You know, I'm not making money like that. Why would I do that? Why would I carry these guys' bags? You know, who are these guys? I'm playing for their position. So what makes you think I'm supposed to do that for them? You know, so yeah. It's a different era.
But some of it though still needs. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying it's a different era than these guys that are coming in that are like third and fourth generation wrestlers are being protected by their parents and their uncles and whatnot that are in the business. They don't want them in the business in the first place. Truth be told. So, you know, they're doing the best they can to try to protect their kids.
I don't get it, because I don't get it.
Yeah, and I'm with you.
Why? If one of my sons, either one of them, if both of them wanted to join behind me, if I'm a wrestler and they come behind me, why am I going to deny you the greatness that I've been talking about your whole entire life, of how I was trained and this, that, and the other? Now, granted, I'm not going to put them in no toxic situation and the shit that's all messed up and stuff like that. But why would I deny them that? Now, granted, I don't agree with, you know, in other sports circles when the rookie gets the big deal and he got to take everybody out and they just order abundance of shit and make them spend $10, $15, $20, $30,000 on a meal that nobody eats. I don't agree with that.
Right.
I love the part where you got to bring donuts. You got to bring donuts for the whole position room, or you got to bring some sort of snack. I like that. You know, the carrying of the pads, because that's your OG. You know, we talk about it all the time on different shows. I say that's the problem. When people get into the business, there's no OG to take them under the wing and say, nah, this is how you carry yourself. You know, yeah, I'm going to haze you a little bit. You got to carry my pads. You're going to have to carry my bags. I might tell you to go get me some socks. You got wristbands, or I got years on you. Give me them wristbands. But, you know, give me that tape. Whatever. We don't have the OGs to guide the young ones anymore.
Well, part of that problem is the OG, though. For that scenario, the OG has
because
to
you go from your OG being 35, 40 to your OG being 26.
Yeah, true that. But, you know, something else that comes out of that, which I don't agree with them not putting up the ring and stuff, you know, that was not just paying dues. I know that may be a loose term, but that was also building respect for the people that were working with you. Because without the ring crew at WWE, you're shit out of water. Without the cameraman, the production guy, the lighting guy, the sound guy, the teamsters that come in and set it up, without an entrance, Trick Williams is just a guy. Period.
What was it? I don't know if you sent it, Don, or not, but it was like a couple of weeks ago. Matter of fact, it was for SummerSlam. I'm trying to remember who it was. I don't think it was Kevin Owens. It might have been Randy Orton. It was a big star. But they were setting up the ring, and they were out there helping set up the ring. And they was like, yeah, he does this every couple of shows or so. If he got the time, he comes out and helps set up the ring. You're here, and you're still going out there to set up the ring because guess what? You the same way you shake hands with the head of TKO and Triple H and Stephanie, that ring guy that nobody knows his name, but you know his name. You know he got 3 kids. You know he got a wife. You know him because you sit at Craft Catering and you eat with him. And you laugh and joke. And everybody from the bottom tier to the top tier, you're on a first name basis because you know all of them because those are your people. That type of respect goes well beyond the sport. That's the type of respect that I want to earn. Because I want to be able to say, I did my time in the business. I treated everybody right. But when it's my time and my number's called for me to punch the clock and go to the big ring in heaven, nobody can say anything bad about me. Owen Hart. I haven't heard not one bad story about Owen Hart ever.
Yep. And
now,
he pranks on people. And they still was like, that's still my dog.
Hogan's gone. I've heard more bad stories about Hogan since he passed than I did when he was alive. But when that's the whole point of the respect thing and paying your dues, because it ingratiates you that he's the biggest star in the company, but he's not below coming out here making sure the ring is set up right.
Yep. Why can't I? Same thing with the veterans, or even the young veterans, if you want to say it that way, like John Cena. He got his credibility because he never left. If he was first, he did his segment. He stayed in Gorilla. He welcomed people when they came back in. And eventually they looked to him just like they looked to Vince, just like they looked to Triple H, just like they looked to Michael Hayes, for, hey, tell me about my match. Undertaker would sit in the back and just watch. That's the dedication. But something else, you brought something that ties into it. I want to give another shout out because we got a show, speaking of some travel and stuff like that too. I think it's September 9th. AEW is doing a specialized show, Rebel Heart show for Tanea Brooks or Rebel or Reba, depending if you're Britt Baker. But something that's happened that's really cool. They brought back the Ice Bucket Challenge, which is great. But now the challenge has transcended AEW. And really it's 2 parts. One, it was happening. So it's awesome to see that people took that and they're really supporting, getting awareness out for ALS. So, if you want to support, definitely it's a great cause. I think it's just off the top of my head, IamALS.com. Yeah. So, you could go support there. But then Kevin Owens, after the SummerSlam at that post show, shouted her out and said that was inspirational to him. People started nominating outside of their own 4 walls, outside of their cluster. Now we've just had Bayley, I've seen do it. And there's other, indie stars and other people, even Tony Khan challenged some of the NFL players.
And not to cut you off, but I was really impressed with Bayley's.
Yep.
Because she did hers twice. But it wasn't that she did it twice. The second time, she named like 3 female members of I Say Wrestling. So I was impressed by that part.
Yeah, because they showed up to her Lodestone thing. She remember last year, I think it's maybe about September or so, August, September last year, she did Lodestone, which was an all-women training event. John Cena came out, and then you had Trish Stratus, a lot of big people came out to support her, and it was free just for women wrestlers that just wanted to improve themselves. So, you know, that was a great little think tank of people coming in, and, you know, even more people, you know, are doing it. But that shows you that change can happen, or awareness can happen, and people are reaching across the aisle and understand F the old school stuff of, well, you can't talk to them people over there. This is bigger than that. We talking about life or death. She's, you know, part of the wrestling community, going back to that core of protecting what the nucleus of wrestling and sports entertainment is. She's part of that fraternity / sorority. And, you know, people are just supporting a person that could not be here tomorrow. Literally. You know, shoot, we're praying that she actually makes the daggone event. You know, that's how, you know, by day it could be. So it's just awesome to see, and shout out to Rebel. You know, still continued prayers. You never know what the Lord can do. But, you know, if your time is called, you've made more change in this situation than, you know, the career. That could be the calling too. And you know, that could be the grace in the whole situation. Not trying to get all, you know, evangelical and stuff like that. But, you know, it's just really awesome to see, if you look at your timeline, to see all these different people. And like, I didn't know they know each other. They don't. But that some people just said, I challenge this person just to see what happens. And they did it.
You know, Anthony brought up a good point, because when Chris Johnson from the Tennessee Titans, when he came out on Good Morning America, he talked about his ALS diagnosis for the last year. That's around the time that that's when Rebel came out with hers, like maybe like a couple days later. It started all of that right there, and that's when you start seeing the ice bucket challenges again. And I was like, it never should have stopped. You know, if it's going to raise awareness along with money for research, it never should stop.
Yeah, but like everything else, it was a trend, and trends come and go. You know, but like you said, it was a good
thing. We had a pandemic that kind of came up to that. So that was, you know, the Ice Bucket Challenge, I think, took us right up to 9/11. Not 9/11, sorry. COVID.
What year?
9/11 affected another trend.
What year is it?
I don't know, man.
And to answer your second question about Tony Khan, I think Tony Khan with AEW, Tony Khan, in my opinion, is the Jerry Jones of wrestling. Instead of, when he had everybody on his staff that were doing great things, and AEW was, you know, you had these women's matches between Britt Baker and Nyla Rose, and you had Hangman Adam Page as your guy. Cody was doing things. MJF was killing it. Jericho was shutting it down on the cruise. He was like, well, everybody else is getting all this credit. You're fired, you're fired, you're fired. Fuck you, you're good, you're fired. And he was like, okay, I want to do it. So he turned into Jerry Jones because everybody else was getting the shine. The Dean Malenkos, the Arn Andersons at the time was getting the shine in the dirt sheets and everything. And now he wants to shine. He fucked up the product. See, to put it in straight terms, Tony Khan had Blue Magic, but instead of just leaving it the way it fucking was, he kept booting it and booting it and booting it and cutting it down with baby powder. You fucked it up. You fucked it up. Now you got Orange Magic. You can't call it Blue Magic.
Yep.
Because Blue Magic is a brand. I stand behind it. I guarantee it. You can't stand behind that anymore, because guess what? You better put it in a chokehold and call it Blue Dog shit, because that's the fuck you got.
Yep. Anthony, I'm so glad you said that. I said this quite a while ago, that, you know, Tony Khan just started becoming Vince because he became beholden to the networks and the sponsors. You $1 billion, you shouldn't be shackled by what they want on TV.
Vince still put out a good product.
He
Tony
did,
Khan
but
sacrificed.
Vince knew how to talk to the network and the executives. He had a machine. He had. I don't even think there is an AEW corporate office like Titan Tower. You had to go to Titan Tower to have conversations at that level.
Yes.
The man has a got that on Tyrannosaurus Rex, the head of a Tyrannosaurus Rex skull behind him as he's negotiating business. That's a whole nother level right there.
But Tony Khan, he had everything in the palm of his hands and he pissed it away because he did not listen. How do you have arguably one of the best tag team divisions across wrestling? Everybody talked about AEW tag team scene. Everybody talked about the women's scene. WWE had to step up to get on the level that AEW was. That's when you came up with the women's revolution. And all of a sudden they were competing neck and neck. WWE did the same thing. They shit the bed with the women. And I'm like, dude, y'all bringing all these women up and y'all not doing anything with them. What are you doing? When's the last time you seen Thunder Rosa, Nyla Rose, Britt Baker?
I see him on social media, but that's the best.
We haven't seen him on TV.
All them.
Yeah, Thunder Rosa's actually come back. Thunder Rosa's actually come back. She's actually got a belt.
Yeah.
She has the women's Mexican heavyweight women's Mexican championship.
Yeah, she just picked that up.
Yeah, so she's got that, and she's been on television with it. She's been having matches with that belt. She can't defend it in AEW, but
she can wear it.
But they've been focusing on it because they've got Persephone that's calling herself going after it. You know, they got these restrictions on that. The CMLL has restrictions on the belt that only certain people can challenge for it.
Yeah.
Now, let me ask you this, Sumo. Willow Nightingale. Right now, she's carrying the women's division of AEW. She's the hottest thing going.
They're women's world champion. Yes, sir.
Why are we not? We should be seeing her with that belt around her waist on Good Morning America, the Today Show. We should be seeing her everywhere. But all I see her on is daggone Instagram, maybe X. You should be promoting your champions to a point that people like, God damn, do they got connections with everybody?
They did that with Tony Storm. They tried to do it with Chris Statlander.
Two names that you haven't seen.
They definitely did it with Mercedes Moné.
Yeah,
but I don't know why they're not doing it with Willow.
What's the difference? Mercedes was already a household name. She was a brand.
But regardless of what the name was,
regardless of what the name was, when she did the move, you knew who that was. But that's because of WWE. Again, the difference is the fact that Titan Towers, Jacksonville Jaguars thing, or maybe a Daly's Place office, or something like that. That's the difference between the two. That's why I asked that question, because 10 some years in to AEW.
No, it hasn't been 10. They just crossed 6.
Well, they're getting there, but Tony Khan should be at a level now where the light should click. If I just did something, we just put, a baby face, heavy baby face, really good, for the environment, African American female, mixed. She may be mixed. I don't know. That's out there. Let's start negotiating and leveraging these things. Let's put these folks in the purview of. Let's send out press releases. Let's focus on another video game. Let's do these crossover situations. Let's get them into Hollywood, without restrictions, so that way they could go make a movie. You had Mercedes with the freaking Mandalorian, tie-in. So, you have these things that could happen. but there's nobody there in the framework and the infrastructure to help leverage. This is the direction that you need to go with these superstars. Even when you have, top tier like a Chris Jericho, even when you had CM Punk, even when you had Ric Flair, Eric Bischoff, there's been some folks, but the focus wasn't that. I get it's all about the wrestling, but if you're trying to compete, then you need to step up and compete on that next level. But on the balance of it, though, because I don't want it to seem like I'm just talking bad about AEW and Tony Khan doesn't know how to do blah, 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 blah. On the WWE side, Vincent Kennedy probably created and came up and developed and issued out one of the greatest things ever. And then he also fucked it up at the same time. And that being the WWE Network. What do I mean by that? Tony Khan is still, as we said just a moment ago, and Anthony brought it up, is beholden to the shareholder, without the shareholders, the network and the sponsors. Technically shareholders, but not as much shareholders. It's mostly network and sponsors. He doesn't have that good old Ted Turner had. He doesn't have the network. He didn't own the distribution. He couldn't just put up, yeah, you want to start at 605? Okay. You want to have an event? This okay. You want to give this pay-per-view away? Okay. You want to pay these people? Okay. That's the one thing Tony Khan can't do. Now, going back to Vince, where he fucked up, somebody should have tapped him on the shoulder and said, hey, Vince, you are putting something on the internet. It's just like the Wild West. Just all this open space. Who gives a damn about if a show, a pay-per-view, quote unquote, on a WWE network, they need to go 20 minutes? It's streaming. Who's stopping you? Who cares about this? It's the internet. You don't have any time constrictions. You control, if you have a schedule and you need to bump a show from 3 months ago, bump the show. Who the hell cares? It's a network. Run it. Fumble the bag.
And Anthony, hold on. You don't have to yell. We'll get to your comments. Hold on. In the middle of a diatribe. Hold on. We got you.
We may not got you on this one, Anthony. We may not get you. Because I got something else saucy that's going to keep you talking. Anthony, I know you've been talking. Folks, if you are not on the YouTubes, go back and check out all Anthony's comments. He said a lot. There's a lot to unpack, but that put us at about a 3-hour show, truthfully. Because I got one more super thing I want to bring up to get your impression on for you two gentlemen before we tap out. And I hope you're ready, because this is a doozy. For folks our age, or commonly known as millennials, this is what we've lived through under the lens of wrestling, sports entertainment, and wrestling. We have lived through, as millennials, the debut of The Undertaker, Jake the Snake Roberts getting a cobra to bite the Macho Man. We watched the Rockers break up. We saw the debut of Monday Night Raw. We saw the debut and beginning of Austin 316. We also saw something we thought we would never see, Hulk Hogan heel turn. We lived through the Montreal Screwjob. We almost lost our minds in disbelief when Mick Foley was thrown off Hell in a Cell. We've seen Shawn Michaels retire twice. We saw Mae Young give birth to a hand. We've seen the rise and fall of WCW. We've seen the rise and fall of ECW. We've seen Stone Cold Steve Austin turn heel. We've seen the WCW, ECW invasion. We've seen the Great Khali as the world title holder. We've listened to CM Punk's pipe bomb live. We've seen the breakup of the Shield. We've seen Brock Lesnar in the Undertaker's WrestleMania streak. We've lived to a point to where it's still weird for Vince McMahon not to own WWE. We've seen John Cena heel turn and John Cena retire, all in our, and that's just where we are up till now in the millennial scope. That's unprecedented versus what everybody else had before us and possibly after us. And then that's not even factored in the Thunderdome era and Roman Reigns' title reign. And technically we're living through and even superseding that with Nubian Sumo's girls' longest ever title reign. Is good old funny face over there. So what's your thoughts, guys? We've lived through a lot. Like, that could cause PTSD for some of these situations. If you think about it, emotionally, what we have gone through as professional wrestling fans, to where you may have that guy jump, it's still real to me, damn it. You know, that's a lot. Sumo? Or KG. I'm sorry.
Nah,
You go
Sumo been quiet. I've been running my mouth.
First off, I'm Gen X, so I've seen a lot more than that.
You should have took the rub there. You should have took the rub.
No,
as much as I try to give you
all of this, great. Okay,
yeah,
I heard every bit of it. But yeah, that is a lot to, and I mean, and there's even more that if you go outside of WWE, there's a lot more than that, you know, that you didn't even mention. But yeah, that is a lot to take in, and to have it all right there in one diatribe, soliloquy, if you will. It is a lot to take in. So yeah. And while you were running through all that, there was some things that, you know, made me think about, you know, even further, you know, like
Ron Simmons, first black champion.
I knew you were going to say that.
What is that? Was that what you was about to say?
No,
but that's history for you.
It is history for WCW and being the first recognized
right
first black champion. I give him that. He's not the first black world champion, but he's the first recognized first champion. I mean, I was there for the first Starrcade. I was there for the first, I mean, not there, but I'm living. I was there for the first WrestleMania. You know, I was there when there were scaffold matches.
Yeah.
That were, you know, unprecedented, you know. The first ladder match, you know, before WWE even thought about doing ladder matches. I was watching ladder matches in smaller federations. Yeah, there's a lot. The very first pipe bomb from CM Punk in ECW in Ring of Honor, the Summer of Punk. You know, Kevin Owens' year as world champion in Ring of Honor. You know, when he had a similar Summer of Punk of his own. So I mean, there's a lot of history there. So I mean, thank you, Anthony. I'll go ahead and give you that. I was there for Closed Circuit. Yeah. Closed Circuit first started when Closed Circuit became pay-per-view. You know, I was there for that. So yeah, when you put it all like that in one grouping to show the history of what has happened, you ask, what's next? What else can actually happen to be momentous as those things that you just mentioned? What could top those things? Who could come up, and going back to pretty much the beginning of the show, who is going to come up 27 and under that's going to be able to match or exceed those events?
Yeah. And that's, I know it's going to sound weird. To answer that question is kind of vague because it's up to them. It's up to that person to stand up and say, me. And the only way they know that is by situation. Who we talking about not too long ago that just had their nose bust that was bleeding up and really stood up and showed something at a Survivor Series?
You talking about Becky Lynch or
recently Survivor Series? Who was we just talking about?
Who was
you got the right gender?
Oh, you talking about Chelsea Green?
Mm-hmm. Standing up. Same thing for Liv Morgan. Standing up. But yeah, you just gotta, stop punching. Just stand up and take it. I'm waiting for Javon Evans to stop jumping and put on the ring psychology of it. And that kid is going to go, man, through the moon. I think he could do what Damian Priest couldn't in a short amount of time. He could take the whole world and have them in the palm of his hand once the light bulb goes off for the ring psychology point. But it's cool that he's under the learning tree of Becky Lynch. So, KG, what was your thoughts on, the lineage of definitely, since sumo old, what you lived through?
I mean, everything that you named, like when you talk about it, it all floods back, Thinking about, and I add even more, I watched live the Rock and Sock connection come together and beat the Undertaker and the Big Show. Mm-hmm. We're coming up on the anniversary of that. I watched WrestleMania 15 live. I remember watching. I think it was Royal Rumble when Hogan and Ultimate Warrior knocked everybody else outside of the ring, and they came back to back and was like going ham on everybody, and that's what started the Ultimate Maniacs.
Yep.
I remember that. I remember all the different shows. I remember WWF Superstars on Saturdays, 12 o'clock. Like I said, we talked about it earlier, Sunday Night Heat, Shotgun Saturday Night. I remember the very first episode, not the first official episode, when SmackDown was a one-off.
Mm-hmm.
I remember that. I thinking that what I saw on Thursday night couldn't get any greater until I met a gentleman that was able to get it to me on Thursday morning because it was taped on Wednesday. So,
good old production.
I remember that. I mean, we lived through an era in a time where wrestling was life. I talk about this all the time to my kids, and I say, at a point in time, and I'll say this from 2000 to about 2010, 2003, 2004. I lived in the same neighborhood for 14 years, different apartments. But from 2000, we moved in our last apartment till about 2004, 2003-ish. Every day after work, would come home. Let's say it's a Monday. You come home from work. I'm a tweener. So I'm about 18, 19 at the time. So I'm tweener. All of a sudden, the parents start coming home. Everybody stops on the same side of the building, and everybody leaning there talking. Did you watch Shotgun Saturday Night? Yeah, I watched it. This happened, that happened. And they was talking about it on Sunday Night Heat. And it's summertime, kids outside playing. Then all of a sudden, you hear, hey, it's 8:55. The whole entire area, you see 40, 50 kids outside. All of a sudden, the whole entire area is clean. Nobody's out there. Everybody's gone. Neighbors gone in the house. Everything. When 9 o'clock hit on a Monday, streets was clear.
Yep.
Hog futures were up. No crime was going on. We went in the house to watch wrestling. Tuesday, when everybody got home from work, did you see Raw last night? Oh, I think this is going to happen. Well, I can't wait till Thursday because this is going to happen and that's going to happen. That was life. There was no internet. There was no, you could get the dirt sheets, but you had to really, I mean, there was internet, but there was no social media. You could get the dirt sheets, but it didn't compare to seeing it yourself or reading it in Pro Wrestling Magazine or Pro Wrestling Illustrated. I'm sorry. It did not beat that. We lived through an era where you got your indie stuff. You could not watch it on some sort of pirated. You had what was the damn cable box called? Oh my god, Scrambler.
Yeah.
If you didn't have a Scrambler, you couldn't watch stuff like that. So you were watching tapes from people and things like that. You were getting your Ring of Honor stuff from the Wrestling Almanac every month.
Mm-hmm.
We lived in that era. In that era, without social media, wrestling was great.
The internet killed quite a few things. But I would say, and I'm still a believer as we wrap up, that it's possible to get back there.
How?
Take note from the people that are already doing it and doing it well. I've shouted him out many a time because he's a man's heel of a heel of a heel. Got that going. Baron Corbin. If you're the bad guy, you're the bad guy. If you're on social media, you're the bad guy. That is your role. I'm not out there. I'm doing my life. I'm living my life. If I happen to be in a video with a baby face, then I'm still going to say bad guy things. MJF is another one. If I am in a video, and, even John Cena wasn't sure what, he was a believer in the MJF that he saw on TV was the MJF that he was meeting in person when they were meeting outside a movie premiere. He was shocked that Maxwell, Jacob Freeman, was a person that he could talk to because the character transcended so much that you believe what you were getting before you even got it. So using social media in the right way, you ain't got to offend people. You're going to do whatever. You keep it to exactly what your storyline is. Roman Reigns is starting to do a series that's a little behind the curtain on some things. It's cool to see, but at the same time, my first thought was, Roman, I don't need to know what's going on in your backstory behind your life unless something comes back that I have to meet Joe on Raw in front of millions of people and you talking to me on the screen again. Unless that's happening, I hope it don't. I don't need to see behind your curtain because then I lose the tribal chief persona. I need to see the tribal chief as a tribal chief. You walk out there with that swag, you keep that swag. I don't need to know what happens. Anything else, the Stephanie McMahon thing that she did on a yacht at the beginning of her What's Her Story, that was a one-off, but they were still kind of bloodliney in character. Talk about life, but it was still there. But if you use social media in the right way and you don't allow the comments to dictate the flow, you can bring back as close to full kayfabe as you could, because you're keeping it up the straight line. Your personal life needs to stay out of it. I don't need to know if you got a kitty cat. If you do something to the left, like a Mia Yim, and you want to do your gaming channel, Mia Yim doesn't exist. If it's Zelina Vega, okay, you're Thea Trinidad. It should be separate, so that way if they're watching Thea, then Thea doesn't talk about wrestling. Thea's doing a video game channel. We talking about video games. Zelina Vega is going to be on TV. It can be done, but that also has to be trained in NXT how to navigate. Maybe that's a course on how to navigate social media presence versus your storyline and your character. If you're going to break kayfabe like The Undertaker and talk about things, you're talking about stuff that's so far in the past. Oh, it's okay to, we can talk about it now. It's happened. It's history. It's like opening up an encyclopedia that doesn't exist and then going back to it. But if you keep things in that framework, we could get back there. And I think that's the fairest thing for these kids to see, because they're short attention span. They're expecting, eat this. Okay, I've got everything. No, you're not seeing the evolution, and you're not emotionally invested in what's happening. And it's hard to convey that if the audience doesn't have the attention span to go through the ride. These young kids, and I'll turn it over to y'all to wrap up, the only time, in my opinion, they're going through the emotional roller coaster is in the Royal Rumble. If their pick is number one, that's where their emotional roller coaster is the craziest, because they don't know how to navigate 30 or 29 other men or women, and they're hoping that their person gets to the end. And when they get thrown out, devastating. That's the only time they can understand what we went through in the Attitude Era and the other times, because they have no choice but to be locked into an hour and something of just figuring it out and just riding the wave of unpredictability. So, as my soapbox, clip that, KG. That way they can freaking listen and put this thing back in play. It's doable while we got really, I think, the best crop of NXT folks that could come up that we've had in a couple years. You've had some one-offs, but they've got some strong talent in NXT and that they've been curating through LFG that can make some moves in the next 2 years or so that could just change the whole landscape of WWE if they do it right. Sumo, final thoughts?
Yeah, there are some other companies that are doing it pretty well as far as their young talent is concerned. You got right now, you got in the G1 Climax, you got two guys who in the final of the G1 Climax who have only been out of the dojo maybe 2 or 3 years. And they've made the finals to the G1 Climax, the biggest tournament in wrestling history.
Yep.
So one of them being named as one of the new Three Musketeers of New Japan. So there are folks that are out there doing it the right way as far as young talent is concerned. It can be done. It needs to be done. How will it be done in WWE? I'm not really sure. But and no, it's not. It's not one of them. Is not Bolton Oleg. He was in the tournament, but he wouldn't. He didn't make it to the final. But it's just hard to have all these older wrestlers in here and getting the same thing over and over again with the same 6 guys trading the belt.
Yep.
When you got all this young talent that could come up, like you said, Javon Evans. Javon Evans came out and they're treating him just like they treated Bayley when she came out of the NXT. You know, there was no reason for them to hold back Bayley other than the fact that they needed somebody in the women's division of NXT because they got Charlotte, Becky, and Mercedes and pulled them to the main roster.
Yep.
But they saw something in Javon that was like, okay, we can do something with him. Why not do something with him? You did it with Trick. You did it with Oba. You're definitely doing it with Oba. Why not do it with Javon? I mean, you got him like a jumping bean, jumping all over the place, and you know, he reminds me of what they did with Rob Van Dam.
Yep.
You know, they had Rob Van Dam going around talking about cool and one word promos and not really focusing on. I mean, he can talk. He can talk. I mean, yeah, he could do more than just what he was in the ring. He could talk if you let him. But they wanted to focus on the weed head aspect of it, you know, and not let him get over like he needed to.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't until they wanted to start up ECW that they actually did anything with him. And then once that got going, they took that and the world chair and WWE championship from him within like a week of each other. So I mean, it's hard to watch, but you got to get through the bad to get to the good. So I'm just hoping that it gets better.
Yeah, I need to listen. And we posted your thing, Anthony, about that fact about New Jack training Javon. KG, what's your final word? You in trouble?
I don't have anything. I think you two said it all, and I don't want to piggyback off of that and destroy what you said. So I'm gonna leave it at that.
All right, Dean. Well, like I said again, just wrapping up. Make sure you definitely support AEW. I believe it's September 9th or September 6th, one of the two. But look it up for their Rebel Heart dedication show. If you can't support any other way, just watch. Just watch. Let the viewership go up because there'll be a lot of information there. Who knows what could happen? This could be truthfully AEW's break the mold show to where there'll be more eyes on them to see what the product is, which could send a resounding, shockwave through to force WWE and other people to take them seriously on a whole nother level. Because if they could just capture the magic, then we got something. And it's still going for a great cause that's greater than wrestling. So just want to plug that one more time. Make sure as we got time, leading into September, to do reminders, but definitely take the time, check out your Instagrams, your Facebooks and stuff like that. Look up and see how this is broaden the horizons all across all platforms when it comes down to, which promotions and stuff like that. And then other than that, we're going to be here talking about whatever's going on. We do have Sainat's main event coming up in Atlanta very soon. So that'll be something to talk about.
Sunday night.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, Sunday night. Yeah,
Sunday night main event. Yeah.
Sunday night main event. That's right. So that's something else that's coming up feverishly soon. So be on the lookout for that. I don't know if we'll do a react show. It could be possible. We'll see how that plays out. But other than that, great show, fellas. A lot of great conversation. I think we covered some topics, and nothing else made us feel old as hell. So may have to go get me a quick thing, Ovaltine or something like that. I don't know, KG.
Ovaltine,
yeah. Put some icy hot on or something like that. I don't know.
Good grief.
I know.
How
Maybe
old
take some IcoPro. Because you gotta want it. I don't know what it may be. Maybe go down to the power plant and go work out with Sergeant Buddy Lee Parker. Really?
Next thing you're gonna say is you're gonna have a glass of Tang.
Oh, you what? Come on now. Now I gotta throw out the old stuff for sumo. But I did have some Tang though, so I was there. That was part of my lineage. So I was there.
I mean, you got
and all of it, KG, was paid for by a food stamp that actually gave me some change back. So
look, I had to look over to my left because I was getting ready to say something I ain't had no business. And I knew I was gonna get in trouble.
You should just say it. Just say it.
All right. If the big brother says say it. As a kid, you drank Tang. As an adult, I like pie.
Oh man, I thought you had something better. That's what it was?
Yeah, because you know what kind of pie I like.
No, oh yeah. But you should have left out the pie part. You should be like, as a kid, we drank Tang. But as an adult, I elevated the Poontang.
As an adult, you eat pie. Well, hey, don't look at me like that.
Look at
you like strudel.
I'm waiting for that. I'm waiting for that right hook.
It's gonna be like Police Academy. Oh, there it is.
Oh, there it is. Wait.
There it is.
Yeah, that's the back rub. Yep.
That you know what that is, right?
Next is gonna be that
tap.
Next, yep. As soon as we get off the camera, it's gonna be you get.
That's exactly what I'm gonna tell your motherfucking ass up when you get in the house. You know what I'm saying?
Oh boy, you're about to have some soap
Fucking
in
around with
his mouth
y'all,
a little
man.
bit.
Well, let me throw this out here now while I got everybody's attention. Programming note: the Sunday Rise will be on hiatus tomorrow yet again because we revamping. We're getting ready for the NFL season, so we're gonna take a Sunday off. Everything will be back on Monday, as far as I know, scheduled as properly. So be ready.
I mean, go talk to Jesus since you're not watching the Rise. Talk to somebody. Listen to somebody. God dang it. Take a break. That's going to be exciting. So y'all need to rest. Y'all do a phenomenal job every Sunday, giving us something to watch on Facebook and all the socials. So you deserve it. And with that,
I appreciate that.
No problem, man. I'm always going to tell you what can I say this time? I guess put 5 on 4. If you want to really talk about some age and gas, let me get 5 on 4 for a tank, and then diversify your bonds.
Champ is here. Konnichiwa, bitches.